What you manifest in your mind, you can bring to reality.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to a new episode of Swipe Up, the 68th episode where I've shared some of my favorite posts from Instagram. Let's get it started with this one. Joe Rogan, comedian, commentator, podcaster, is breaking records, kicking the punching machine at the UFC PI, I believe. Maybe it could have been his gym. I think he has one of these also. But he beat Francis Ngannou's record with a kick, although Ngannou used a punch. But yeah, Joe Rogan in his 50s, still laying it down. And the sound of it is just insane, listening to how hard this bag is getting kicked. But yeah, great stuff from Joe Rogan. Moving on now to some more Joe Rogan. This cool piece from Dosbrack, where you got different Rogans. You got the podcast Rogan sitting in front of his flag, lighting a joint with a little glass of whiskey in front of him. Then you got the comedian Rogan in the center, kind of perched on the stool, like I think is kind of a signature Rogan. Like he likes to use the stool a lot in his specials. There's always like one bit, it seems like, where the stool is being used as sort of a prop, or not necessarily a prop. There was sometimes he just perches. I don't know. He likes to use the stool. And then the third one is commentator Rogan, clearly seeing an amazing knockout, and they're all kind of siphoned into the overseeing Rogan third eye, which is awesome. Awesome piece. Dosbrack is a amazing artist. Does a lot of like UFC, and then he does some comedians, I think, like Joey Diaz. But amazing stuff. A little bit like, I don't know if I agree necessarily with the Joe Rogan faces, to be honest. If I were to see any of these faces out of context, I don't think I would guess that is Joe Rogan. I mean, they're very exaggerated features. Usually they're pretty spot on, but especially the one in the center. I mean, looking at it, I know, but if I just saw like the face of these without the bodies connected, I don't know if I'd be able to recognize it. But still, great work. I love his style. Moving on to some more art from Art Magazine. These balled up cars, which I've seen in my feed, and it's kind of it's like weirdly, oddly satisfying to see like a car crushed into a perfect sphere. It's and the artist is Ichwanor, I think. ICHWANNOOR. And he's done a lot of cars in spheres. It's like visually it's very satisfying to look at, oddly. you know? But yeah, so I had to share that. Moving on to something else that's beautiful. 1917. This is some behind the scenes of Sam Mendes' newest film, out in theaters now. I highly recommend it. One of the most beautiful films I've ever seen. It's the whole film is done in a single shot, or made to look like it's done in a single shot, a single take. It's an epic journey. I reviewed it earlier in the week, but it's this crazy journey you're going on with two guys who need to deliver a message deep into enemy territory. And this is one of many amazing scenes where you're like, how did they do it? And just the scope and scale of everything. It's just a beautiful movie. Great movie. Highly recommend it. And I mentioned seeing some of the behind the scenes making of, and this is part of it. Just beautiful film. Go check it out. All right. So next up, some crazy drone footage stuff. Like this drone flying up to a guy with a blowtorch, and then as he shoots the blowtorch, the drone flies off and then up into the smoke of the toy. It's just like an insane shot. Like, I could see that shot being, it almost looks CG. Like, if I saw that in a movie, I'd be like, that was an amazing CG flame. But it could have been done with like a drone and stop motion. But I could see that in a war film, like a new stylized war film depicting like World War II or whenever the blowtorches were pretty popular, or Vietnam War. Expendables. I see, or this is more of a Fast and the Furious type of camera shot. But I don't know if they would use blowtorches in Fast and the Furious. All right, anyway. Last but not least, just some amazing innovation. When you need your meat rotisserie over a campfire, and you don't have any electricity, but for some reason you have running water, this dude put together a little water, what were those called? You put them in a river, they generate energy as the river pushes it through. This one's kind of a similar idea, except for the hose is shooting down into empty beer cans that have had the top removed and attached to a bicycle wheel. The bicycle wheel is spinning the spigot that the meat is on over a fire. Just oddly satisfying, like redneck zen. Redneck zen. I wonder how fast it is actually spinning, because the video itself is slowed down. You can hear the voices kind of. So, I don't know. I don't know how fast, like, for rotisseries generally spin pretty slow. Pretty much any rotisserie style kind of cooking, it's done pretty slow. So I wonder how effective it is if it spins faster. Anyway, I'm sure there's a science video somewhere online that breaks down what's the exact wheel size you would need to achieve the appropriate spin on the meat. Anyway, that's it. That's it for this week. Some of the posts I found fun and interesting. Let's do some shout outs. Shout out to WWL MMA. Shout out Joe Rogan, Dosbrack. Shout out Art_magazine. Shout out Itchy Wanur. Shout out Filmmakers World. Shout out Black Sheep FPV. Shout out Nurk FPV. And shout out to you, Meat Curator. That's it for this episode. New episodes of The Ray Taylor Show come out every single day. Subscribe on IGTV, YouTube, and everywhere else podcasts are found. Go buy my artwork over at InspiredDisorder.com and save 25% when you use coupon code RTS. Follow me on social media at Ray Taylor. Have a wonderful day, everybody. Peace out!